principle of specificity suggests that to improve at a skill, you need to practice that specific skill. But a lot of coaches take a lot of leeway when we talk about practicing a skill, and believe that, a lot of general exercises that are close to the skill count for specificity. So for instance, jumping. So the belief tends to be that if you jump, you're going to improve all aspects of power. In my dissertation, I studied this. So I compared two training groups, one who did frontal plane plyometrics, so lateral movement plyometrics, jumping and hopping and bounding in the frontal plane or laterally, and then another group that did sagittal plane plyometrics. So they jump, hopped, or bounded either vertically or horizontally. And so the findings probably shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Those that trained laterally improved their lateral power, and those who trained in the sagittal plane improved their vertical power. And so that should be what we suspect, or what we expect from the principle of specificity. So jumping up improves our ability to jump up. Jumping to the side improves our ability to jump to the side. What I didn't find was crossover or generalizability. So when we trained in the sagittal plane to jump vertically, it didn't improve lateral power. And when we trained laterally, it didn't improve vertical power. However, both programs showed moderate improvement in horizontal power. So even when you're jumping laterally, there is some benefit towards horizontal power or a standing long jump, but there's none to a vertical jump. And if you're practicing in the sagittal plane, which are primarily vertical exercises, there's also improvement in horizontal power, but not lateral power in the frontal plane. So the idea, again, is the principle of specificity, and it's not just that the broad exercise is specific, so I want to improve my power, so I'm going to train one aspect of my power and believe that it's going to generalize to all aspects of power, but each different aspect is specific in and of itself. Therefore, if we want to improve lateral movement and we want to increase our lateral power to be faster moving laterally, we need to train laterally. We can't rely solely on jumping vertically to transfer in the frontal plane. And so that's what a lot of strength and conditioning programs tend to do. We tend to see a lot of sagittal plane exercises. We tend to see a lot of vertical exercises, or a focus on vertical jump, because the vertical jump tends to be the primary measure that strength and conditioning coaches use to measure lower body power. And consequently, most of the exercises are directed toward improving lower body power in terms of the vertical jump. And so what we then ignore is frontal plane power. And moving laterally, moving in the frontal plane, is different than moving vertically. And so practicing solely for vertical power is not specific to frontal plane or lateral movement. And so we need to train both qualities if we want to, especially in a sport like basketball, where there's a definite vertical component, but there's a definite frontal plane or lateral movement component as well. And so to train only one to the exclusion of the other will be developing that specific quality, but not all the qualities that are necessary to move effectively on a basketball court.